She was rejected by everyone. Then, this happened. She knocked on 27 doors, and every single one closed on her face. Just silence, rejections, and eyes that looked straight through her. That was the moment she stopped believing, not in the world, but in herself. Her name was Zara, and if you met her today, you'd never guess the truth, because the girl you see now is not the girl she used to be. Once upon a time, she had dreams that were louder than her fears. She wanted to act, to write, to create something that made people feel. But dreams don't survive long in a world that keeps saying no. At 14, she stood on a stage, heart racing, hands shaking. This was her moment. She delivered every line perfectly, every emotion, real, raw, alive. And for a second, she thought she made it. Then came the verdict. We're looking for someone else. That was it. No explanation, no feedback, just a polite rejection, wrapped in indifference. She smiled, like it didn't hurt. But inside, something shattered quietly. At 16, she tried again, this time with words. A story she poured her soul into, a story that carried her pain, her hope, her voice. She submitted it and waited. Days passed, then weeks. The results came out. Her name wasn't there, not first, not last, not anywhere. That night, she didn't cry loudly. She just stared at the ceiling, wondering if her voice even mattered. By 18, rejection wasn't an event anymore. It became a pattern. Job applications? Ignored. Scholarships? Declined. Friendships? Fading into silence. It felt like life had quietly decided, you don't belong here. And the worst part? No one ever told her why. One rainy evening, after yet another rejection, Zara walked home slowly, not because she was tired, but because she didn't know where else to go. The rain soaked through her clothes, but she didn't care, because somehow, it matched exactly how she felt inside. When she got home, she didn't turn on the lights. She dropped her bag, sat on the floor, and broke. Not the kind of cry you show people, but the kind that comes when you've been strong for too long. I tried, she whispered. I really tried. But the room stayed silent, just like the world always had. And that night, something dangerous happened. She stopped hoping. The next morning, there was no alarm, no applications, no effort, no fight left. Days blurred into weeks. She stopped checking messages, stopped looking in the mirror, stopped believing anything could change. She didn't fail anymore because she stopped trying. And that was the lowest point of her life. Until one afternoon, something unexpected happened. A knock. Soft, steady, almost hesitant. She ignored it at first, because hope felt like a trap. But the knock came again. Something inside her, barely alive, told her to move. She opened the door. No one. Just a small box, sitting quietly. No name, no note, no reason. For a moment, she almost left it there, because nothing good ever came unannounced. But curiosity, that tiny spark, refused to die completely. She picked it up, light, too light. Inside, there was only one thing, a notebook, old, simple, almost forgotten. She opened it slowly and froze. On the first page, just 5 words. Tell your story. She frowned. What story? She whispered. Because in her mind, her story was nothing but failure. She flipped the pages. Empty. Every single one. It felt almost mocking, but something about it felt different. It didn't judge her, didn't reject her, didn't compare her. It just waited. That night, she sat quietly, staring at that blank page. Her hand trembled as she picked up a pen. She hesitated, because starting meant feeling again. But then she wrote. At first, just a few words. Broken, uncertain. Then sentences. Then memories. Then pain. She had buried for years. She wrote about the stage, the rejection, the silence, the nights she felt invisible. Page after page, she poured everything out. No filters, no pretending, no fear. And something shifted. For the first time in years, she felt heard, not by the world, but by herself. Days turned into nights, and she kept writing. The pain didn't disappear, but it started to make sense. And slowly, her story changed. It wasn't just about rejection anymore. It was about survival. And that realization terrified her, because it meant she wasn't done yet. So she made a decision. Small, but powerful. She shared her story, not with everyone, just somewhere. A simple blog, no audience, no expectations. She clicked publish and waited. Nothing happened. No views, no comments, no signs of life. For a moment, it felt like before. But this time, she didn't stop. She kept writing. Again, and again, and again. Until one day, something changed. A comment. Just one line. I felt this. Her heart stopped. Someone understood. It wasn't fame. It wasn't success. But it was connection. And that was everything. More comments followed, more stories, more people who felt just like her. And suddenly, she wasn't alone anymore. The world didn't reject her. It just hadn't heard her yet. Months passed. Her voice grew stronger. Her story reached further. Opportunities started appearing, quietly, unexpectedly. Writing gigs, collaborations, invitations. And for the first time, she didn't chase them. They found her. Then came the email. A publisher. They had read her words, felt her story, and wanted more. Her hands shook as she read it again. This was the dream. She once thought she lost, but this time, it felt different. She wasn't trying to prove anything. She already knew she was enough. Years later, Zara stood on a stage again, but not as someone asking to be chosen, as someone who already was. She looked at the crowd, hundreds of eyes, listening, and she smiled. They rejected me, she said softly, because they never heard my story. A pause, deep, intentional. But the moment I told it, everything changed. So if you're still watching this, feeling invisible, feeling rejected, feeling like you don't belong, listen carefully. Your story is not over. The world hasn't rejected you. It just hasn't heard you yet. So speak, write, create. Because somewhere, someone is waiting to feel exactly what you've been through. And when they find you, everything will change, just like it did for her.